Catus Maximus here. ThruNite decided to send me another flashlight. Actually, they had sent me this one, and I spent my money on hand tools primarily for this channel, but I won't turn down a decent flashlight. Some companies offer really cheap ones, and I say no, but ThruNite actually decided to step up. They sent this BSS V4, which I was a little bit harsh on, but I suppose it's okay. Some people did point out the purpose of a little light that has a super bright turbo mode that doesn't last very long. A lot of people just kind of like that, being able just to turn it on super bright for a few minutes. But part of the deal is if I did come through with the review on this light, which is surprising. Apparently a lot of these companies contact people who have social media followings, send them products, and they just don't do anything with them. So I can kind of understand the disappointment. But I came through, so they came through by sending me their Catapult V6. This is the SST70. So this is supposed to be only a few more lumens brighter than the previous light that they sent me at 2800. But what we can see is it is a big lens light. And one thing I didn't realize, I thought it didn't charge, there is a connection in here. So what ThruNite does, instead of doing a plastic thing ahead of the battery, they just unthread a little bit the body of the flashlight, and that's what prevents it from self-discharging. Anyway, kind of a neat little light. Wanted to do a quick unboxing and mention that yes, this one is better. It has USB-C charging and does come with a little USB-C cable, so I do appreciate that. Packaging isn't too bad at all, and I like that they actually didn't glue the foam in there. That way you can use the box for something else, because it actually is kind of a thick and pretty heavy duty box. Relatively decent sheath there for it. I mean, it's pretty cheap. At least it's properly branded. It's a little bit more expensive because we can see that I think this thing's going for 65 bucks on Amazon right now, and I think the normal retail is somewhere in the range of 80 bucks. It does indeed come with a couple extra. These actually almost look small. This must be, oh, I see, it's folded up. So it does come with an extra O-ring. 2 extra O-rings, I should say. And a couple extra port covers. So I do appreciate that. No extra lens with this light. Comes a little keychain thing too, which I find a little bit odd. We do know a little bit more expensive. I will mention that the ThruNites do come with this little wrist choke, which I do appreciate. They did actually brand this little unit here. So anyway, quick through the manual shows that they do advertise it being hard anodized. Slide switch cap, mine was missing that. That's a little bit disappointing. And this is a 26650, so you can see just a slight discoloration on the glass lens. So it is a coated glass lens. This is aluminum front ring. Wish they would have used stainless steel, kind of like how the Sofern does. And we can see the big difference, not with just having the bigger, whatever that is, 17 watt-hour battery, but having a much larger case with a much more heat dissipation capabilities. The little BSS V4 drops down to 600 lumens when it starts overheating. This will drop down to 1300 lumens and give you it says 89 minutes, although interestingly on high, it'll be 1400 lumens for 102 minutes, so a little over an hour and a half. It's actually a useful amount of time for 1400 lumens. So that's just the advantage of having a flashlight with a slightly bigger body and a slightly bigger battery. The one thing I will mention, I'll compare both the ThruNite and the Sofern, is I would wish that ThruNite would do just a little bit larger capacity, just a little bit more premium capacity battery, especially for their price. 5,000 milliamp hours isn't bad for a 26650, and these are a little bit taller than a C cell, but slightly narrower. I will mention that the Sofern came with a 5500, so the Sofern gives you a little bit more capacity. But the second thing I need to mention is you'll notice that there's a significant height difference between these two. So ThruNite's sacrificing a little bit of capacity, but they're giving you a cell that is known as protected. This little area on top of that is an electronic circuit, which prevents you from over discharging and potentially damaging the cell. The Sofern is an unprotected cell, so I guess it's 6 to 1, half dozen to another. I think probably in the long run, you're better off having a light, to tell you the truth, that it does have and accepts protected cells, because that is just another layer of security, not just against like fires and that type of stuff, but actually getting the lifetime. You know, if you over discharge lithium ion, they will you can get them to come back to life, but it massively impacts their longevity. You know, if you run lithium ion batteries down to just dead, you can ruin them in just a few dozen charges. So having a protected cell overall is going to mean a much longer lasting light. And one last thing, besides it is gold plated, all these good ones are, but it's kind of hard to see. There you go, you can almost see at this angle. This is actually double springed. I think that's kind of interesting. They certainly do grease it, but I thought since that cover comes off, you can look. Actually quite a bit of electronics back there. I do need to mention something here. So I was looking through this. It only has a low, medium, and high, where the Sofern has the capability of doing continuously variable. You can turn this on. Oh, come on. And then press and hold it and do that, which is pretty neat. The other thing I'm noticing about this, which I think they really should add, is the fact that nowhere on here do I see a lockout mode. And you can't even do the lockout mode that the V4 does, where you do a couple long presses. So a light like this, it doesn't have an auxiliary tail switch, and just such an easy to press little button. I mean, it really should have some kind of a lockout. It's also a safety thing. This is still small enough to throw in a jacket pocket if you're camping or something. And if somehow all you do is a simple double click, I mean, I can feel the heat on my hand. And I've had one of these lights turn on in my pocket once, and it will burn a hole in your pocket. It's that much intensity. They really need to have a lockout mode. I understand that it was supposed to come with what they say here, a side switch cap, which may have been the protection thing, but mine, unfortunately, they omitted that from the packaging. Okay, that's all the bench talking. I think it's pretty decent, especially for a long throw light, but they could, just a couple little improvements, although I like the protected cell. Let's go outside and see how it compares to the 3500 lumen Sofern and their own 2500 lumen BSS V4. Alrighty, so we're going to do a test. I really do like this ThruNite light, and it is super throw. Unbelievable. As a matter of fact, if we take our Sofern, whoop, there's the Sofern, and then there's this. Just super duper throw, even though this light is 3500 lumens. Now, too bad this V6, whatever, SST70 V6, I always forget that. Not having an electronic lockout, like pressing the button 4 times, is just terrible. So here's their BSS V4. There's a turbo mode on it, and once again, this SST V70, just really good lens on it. It's just dangerous because it can turn on in your pocket. Here we go, shining into the sky. It's almost like a searchlight. That's what's kind of crazy about this thing. It's a really good lens for 2800 lumens. You can just see how it's lighting up all those particles. And the smaller light does have an electronic lockout. It just doesn't make sense to me. So anyway, to sum up, this flashlight has a really awesome lens, has great throw, but for the sale price of 65 bucks, they could do better. It needs a lot better software and control for the button, and they could really put a stainless steel lens ring on there, make it a bit more durable. But the fact that it does not have an electronic lockout like its smaller brother that I reviewed a few days ago actually doesn't make a lot of sense. This is more than small enough just to pop in your jacket pocket if you want to have a flashlight with a good throw. I mean, I do like that it comes with a protected cell, but I think ThruNite could just do with a V7 and do a couple improvements to this thing, especially considering like the competition from the Sofern, which is 20 bucks cheaper and really is a better light, to tell you the truth. Anyway, thanks for watching. Really appreciate everybody who has been subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Till next time, Catus Maximus out.